Oh, hey, welcome to the eve of National Yo-Yo Day. If you are a non-worthy human, you may not realize tomorrow, June 6th, is actually National Yo-Yo Day, and I'll be talking a little bit more about that later in the show because I am a yo-yo nerd and there's a lot of good stuff to be talking about the origin of National Yo-Yo Day. So we'll get into that a little bit later. I want to thank Michelle, who is here. Sean is on permanent vacay, being a fireman now. So Michelle is my producer of this show, and so far, so good. We have a little teleprompter problem, but I'm just going to have to wing it tonight. Now, before we get into the meat of the show, I just want to mention that we do have something pretty important coming up here in just a few weeks. It is the National Yo-Yo Championships, and it's being held in Las Vegas, Nevada this year. So the great place to visit with lots of money, a great place to leave with lots of money, but that usually doesn't happen, at least in my case. We are going to be holding the contest at the Westgate Hotel there in Las Vegas, Nevada. You can go to the National Yo-Yo Championships website, and you can find out about registering for the tournament and also getting rooms and all that kind of stuff. So I will be there. Yo-Yo Talk will be there. And we're going to be doing several different things there at the National Yo-Yo Championships. Number one, I would like to mention, I will be bringing yo-yos to trade. So hopefully you guys will bring some yo-yos along with you. And a lot of times people ask me, well, Lucky, what kind of yo-yo do you want that you don't have? Well, if you will bring souvenir yo-yos or character yo-yos or advertising yo-yos, especially ones that are kind of local to you, those are all very cool yo-yos, and a lot of times I don't have those, and we don't have to be trading $1,000 yo-yos. I'm happy to trade not worth the postage in WP yo-yos, because that's better than buying them and having the yo-yo worth less than the postage you're paying for them on eBay. So bring those yo-yos with you. Now, of course, Nationals, the main thing going on there is the National Championships, the 1 through 5A divisions. If you're a non-yo-yo competitor, just briefly, the 1A division is single yo-yo doing complex tricks. 2A is looping yo-yos. 3A I like to call duplex, which is using 2 yo-yos, doing incredible things with them. 4A is off-string. 5A is counterweight or freehand play. And then we have the duos national championships. And the duos, if you are not familiar with them, we have several videos up. They've been holding the duos at Nationals and Worlds the last year, and this is the second year of hosting them. And it is all about entertainment. Over half the score is about entertainment value. You have 2 people on the stage. There's some other rules. If you look back to some of my other videos explaining how duos is done, you can find out, but we like to see a lot of people enter that championship as well. Now, on Friday night of Nationals, I'm going to be doing a little talk on yo-yo myth bustings. I'm going to bust open some of the old myths about the yo-yo that may not be true. One of them is, you've already probably heard this many times. If you're a yo-yo player, somebody will always ask you, has the yo-yo been a weapon or not? And you will have the answer for this after you go to my talk. That's on Friday night. Then on Saturday, we've got a lot going on. Of course, we'll have some of the main competition. The duos are going to be held on Saturday. I will be running the Doc Lucky's 15 Seconds of Fame. That takes you back to the Worlds that we had here in Orlando years ago. We've been holding that for the last couple of years at Nationals. We will be inducting the Hall of Fame members into, let's flash up that Hall of Fame photo there, that little composite, and maybe you can put it in front of me. There you go. Yeah, these are much prettier people than me. But this year, we, of course, are inducting 3 new members into the Hall of Fame. One of them is Tommy Smothers. Unfortunately, all of these inductees have passed. Larry Seiko of the Seiko Yo-Yo Company, and then Don Watson, who is well known for his development, working with Tom Kuhn on developing the first production run of the Silver Bullet 2, which was really the first ball-bearing transaxle yo-yo. I guess to be technically correct, it is the Turbo Yo was the introduction, but they only made like 60 of those. So those are pretty rare, and I don't even have one in my collection. So something to be traded for maybe someday. Anyway, I believe that Tommy Smothers' daughter is going to be in attendance. So that would be great. And she's going to receive his plaque and patch. And we're still trying to reach out to the families of the other two. But so far, I haven't heard anything. So a lot going on that day. And of course, we're going to have the trivia contest, which will have a cash prize and a nice little mug to show you are the champion. I think we have top 3 in the trivia contest. So that's something to go to Vegas for. And I hope I'm going to see everybody there. Before I go to the little clip on National Yo-Yo Day I've created, I want to tell you about some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about afterwards. I've got a lot of random things I've got to cover, some collectible stuff, some interesting things. We also are going to have several trivia questions at the end to kind of warm you up for the National Trivia Championships. And one of the questions may be at Nationals at Las Vegas. So watch very closely for that. So I think, let me see, do we have anybody we've got people, Simcoe is here, Rick Rentz, John Maishral. If you're watching Yo-Yo Talk, please chime in on the chat and say howdy. If you have any questions, again, we do this live so people can ask questions and we can have a little dialogue and discussion on yo-yos. That's what makes this show fun. So let's head right into National Yo-Yo Day and its origins. We're going to show you a little clip I created on this. Every June 6th, millions of people around the world celebrate one of humanity's oldest and most fun toys. National Yo-Yo Day isn't about the simple toy you remember going up and down from your childhood. This is a story of a toy that is hundreds of years old, which became an American phenomenon and is a childhood pastime that evolved into a serious sporting event. Now, the origins of the yo-yo are unknown. It is definitely hundreds of years old and maybe thousands. Reports of the toy evolving from an ancient Greece have been disputed by many historians, including myself. We now believe the items that were identified as yo-yos represented bobbins and that images represented a child holding an airy balos, not a yo-yo. The first documented illustration of a yo-yo comes from Persia in 1490. But this does not mean the yo-yo did not exist long before this. The yo-yo has been present in various countries for hundreds of years, including India, Japan, Europe, and other regions. The word yo-yo actually comes from the Tagalog language of the Philippines, meaning come-come. It has been used there for hundreds of years. Now, in 1928, a young Filipino immigrant, Pedro Flores, would bring this toy to life in America by naming it yo-yo, the old Filipino term for the toy. He trademarked the name, and then more importantly, he ran the very first yo-yo competition in Santa Barbara, California in 1928. What resulted was the first yo-yo craze in America. Hundreds of thousands of yo-yos were being sold across America at rapid fire pace. Flores' contribution through his entire life to the world of yo-yos can't be understated. Now, this craze caught the eye of Don Duncan, who was a marketing genius. Duncan started producing his own line of yo-yos, the Oh Boy yo-yo, and ultimately acquired the trademark yo-yo, and then hired Flores, who was amazing at yo-yo campaigns, to run all of the Duncan promotions. This was for the first few years. Flores hired Filipinos to become the early demonstrators, and these demonstrators traveled the world promoting Duncan yo-yos. Now, Duncan's marketing genius led him to William Randolph Hearst, the newspaper magnate, and he entered into a partnership where Hearst would use space in his newspapers to advertise yo-yo contests in return for subscriptions to his newspaper as a contest entry, and it worked phenomenal. Wherever these promotional yo-yo events were hosted by Duncan, a craze always followed in that city or town. Hundreds of kids lined up to compete in the Duncan yo-yo contest, where winners received such things as bicycles, baseball gloves, gold, later on television sets. From the 1930s to the mid-60s, Duncan was the dominant producer of yo-yos in America, producing 85% of all the yo-yos sold. The yo-yo was not just an American craze. The craze extended its tentacles to many countries around the world, and the yo-yo has since become a ubiquitous toy worldwide. Over the years, the yo-yo became so popular, and the term yo-yo was so associated with the toy. In 1965, a lawsuit was filed by the Royal Yo-Yo Company against Duncan, stating that the word yo-yo shouldn't be trademarkable, but should be generic. And indeed, Duncan lost that trademark of the word yo-yo. The word now is generic, and anybody in America can use that. The Duncan Company ended up filing for bankruptcy, and the era of the yo-yo demonstrators came to an end. Ultimately, the Duncan name was purchased by Flambeau Products, which was the plastic company that originally produced Duncan's plastic yo-yos, and the name Duncan yo-yo was revived in the 70s. In the 1970s and 80s, due to the lack of widespread contests, there was a slump in the visibility of the yo-yo, although it was still a favorite stocking stuffer all over the world. Now, in the late 80s, television comedian Tommy Smothers introduced his character, the Yo-Yo Man, and the yo-yo's visibility took an uptick. As an aside, Tommy Smothers was just inducted into the National Yo-Yo Hall of Fame this year. This brings us to the man who created National Yo-Yo Day, Daniel Volk. For over 20 years, Volk worked as a yo-yo demonstrator, traveling the world and sharing his passion for the toy. He became famous for his appearance in the Yo-Yo Man instructional video alongside Tommy Smothers, which became one of the first how-to videotapes to sell over 200,000 copies. Again, the yo-yo has risen. And in 1990, Volk designated June 6th as the National Yo-Yo Day in honor of Don Duncan Sr.'s birthday. Now, contests started being organized again with the first World Championships in 1992 and the first modern national championships held in Chico, California in 1993. We had the American Yo-Yo Association started, world records were established for yo-yo tricks, and then what happened in the late 1990s, yo-yos experienced a significant structural advancement with the introduction of transaxle and ball-bearing transaxle designs. These improvements resulted in yo-yo sleep times going from seconds to minutes. This led to the ability to perform tricks and stunts with yo-yos that could never have been comprehended by the early Duncan demonstrators. The toy has now evolved into a sport that has several divisions being contested at both the national and world championships. Hundreds of competitors competing in these events will demonstrate their skills in 6 different divisions. And for instance, this year in the National Yo-Yo Championships that are being held in Las Vegas, the 1A division involves using just one yo-yo doing complex tricks. The 2A division, you use 2 yo-yos, one in each hand, doing looping tricks. The 3A division, sometimes called the duplex division, where 2 yo-yos are working in conjunction with each other to perform amazing tricks. The next division, or the 4A division, is off-string, where the yo-yo is not attached to the string. The 5A division is also known as the counterweight division, sometimes called freehand, where the end of the string is not attached to the hand, but to a counterweight, allowing the yo-yo string and the counterweight to leave the hands entirely. And finally, the duos division that is two players competing together as a team, where innovation, synchronization, and skill are all combined together, and the goal is to entertain. Now, this June 6th, as we celebrate National Yo-Yo Day, we're not just honoring a toy. We are really celebrating human creativity, the joy of mastering a skill, and the incredible journey of this object that has brought smiles to faces over a millennia. So go out, buy a yo-yo, or grab your own, because it's National Yo-Yo Day, and it's throwing time. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little project there on National Yo-Yo Day. I felt somebody needed to do something to make it noteworthy. I'm going to go on and probably post that tonight. And, hey, send it to your friends that are non-yo-yo players to say, hey, it's National Yo-Yo Day, and give them the link so they know the story behind National Yo-Yo Day. And will the trivia contest be online at Nationals like last year? I believe that is still the plan. So hopefully you'll be there in person to attend. But if not, I think that's still an option. And welcome, Canada Jack. Appreciate you signing in too. And let's see what's next on the agenda here. I wanted to talk a little bit about, I am working on a book again on patches and string packs. I think I mentioned it in the last episode. And Paul signed in. Thank you for watching. And so I'm looking for those rare string packs and patches. Can we go to the little down camera there? I want to show you this one. I just got this, matter of fact. I've never heard of it, and so maybe you guys know some. Okay, here we go. It's the Astro top string pack, and I know nothing about it other than the fact that since it says spinner and Astro top, I'm going to assume that this is probably pre-1965. It's got the nice glassine envelope, and since they weren't using the word yo-yo on it, I'm assuming pre-65 to get around that trademark thing. But if you happen to know anything about that particular string pack, I would love to know. Also would love to have you send me photos of any really rare packs that you might have, anything that has to do with a character. Now, the only two I have character related are the Peanuts and Roadrunner. So if you got another character related pack, I'd love to see that. This string pack came with this yo-yo here. Now, this is just your typical advertising yo-yo. And it may have been from the same time period as the string pack. They kind of made it sound like it was, but this said Astro top, and I don't think so. I don't think this is related. But I will delve into, well, can we date this particular yo-yo? Nothing's on the back. Typical wood yo-yo, advertising with a stamp, ink stamp seal. So about the only thing that will give you, well, you could actually look up that a business and see when it was in business, but the phone number, it's a 7-digit number. It does not have an area code, and that can give you a little bit of a hint in the date, because usually by around mid-60s, most phone numbers had already gotten that 7-digit number. Originally, you had had that additional 3-digit area code number. So originally, you might have had earlier numbers which would have even letters in it. Now you're talking a fairly early phone number. But they didn't start using those area code numbers until around the very late 40s, and they didn't really go into use. I think the first one, I think they said was 1951, is when they brought that into the first long-distance phone call using that area code number. So kind of came through the 60s, but by the through the 50s, by mid-60s, pretty much everybody had that area code in front of it. So I'm dating this yo-yo probably around early 60s. And it may have been the same time as that string pack. And since I've got the camera up, let me also show you these. And these are kind of patches I'm talking about. This is the patch here that came from the 2019 World Championships. Now you can see I don't have the other patches to fill in, nor will I ever probably get those because you had to be a champion or finalist or semifinalist to get those patches. But if you have pictures of something like that, I would love to include them in the book. The modern patches from like 2000 on, especially like regional contest and local contest, I'm really looking to get those type of patches. Oh, that thermometer has a 5-digit phone number. Yeah, that's probably a real early phone number then. Astro top, spin top. Interesting. I will check that out. So you're saying that's not actually is that a yo-yo or is that a actual top? John, can you say it's on? I know there was another one on eBay, but the yo-yo that's with it is also not labeled an Astro top. So anyway, if you know, yeah, just chime in. But anyway, especially these. Let me. While I got this up, I'm going to show you one more thing, just a random thing, because I'm going to do some random shots here. This is a Rat Fink yo-yo. Now, if you were a child of the 60s, as I was, Rat Fink was a pretty cool thing. They had these little Rat Fink rings where the little Rat Fink plastic thing was detachable. And we made little Rat Fink villages and stupid things like that. So I was very excited to see this Rat Fink yo-yo. Now, the only sad part of this yo-yo is I don't think it's licensed. This came from Argentina, and some of these yo-yos from characters and shows from the 60s, I don't think were licensed yo-yos. But anyway, very cool yo-yo, and I like to show, maybe once a show a character yo-yo because I'm really into character yo-yos, and just remind everybody to bring character yo-yos to change. Okay, John, you're saying it's confirmed as a top then. Okay, so, well, that may not make the string pack book then, or maybe I'll use it as an example of how there's some top strings there as well. Okay, so for some more random stuff, just throw up that next picture if we could. We've got a couple little photos I want to talk about here. What do we got here? Okay, that's a good photo there. All right, now I just came across this and I missed this auction, but this is for a 1939 World's Fair yo-yo. Now that's pretty much mini mint. It's still got the metal finger ring on it. You can see it's got a foil seal. And it's got the, the Trilon and Perisphere there. So, cross-collectible yo-yo, but this sold for like over $1,000. I think it was $1,400. So that was a shocker for me. I was really surprised. Jimmy Johnson, Hall of Famer, is in the building now. So anyway, just if you collect those 1939 yo-yos from the World's Fair, that was a pretty big price. I have one very similar to that, but not exactly that one. So I suspect that it is not a yo-yo collector that purchased that, but more likely a World's Fair yo-yo collector. But I wanted to show that. Let's show another picture here. What's coming up next? Oh, okay. So this is from Collector's Call, and I'm going to give you a heads up. I will be on that show. The episode has already been filmed. It'll be showing in September. That is Lisa Winchell. She is the host of the show, and she played, if you are old like me and watched those shows back in the 80s, which actually I didn't, but she played Blair on the Facts of Life show. So she was the host of the show. They had a a really nice segment, and should be a fun show to watch. And I'll let everybody know when that show's getting ready to air. It's on Me TV, which is memorable entertainment television, which I happen to have at my office all day long because it shows like Leave It to Beaver and Perry Mason and Matlock and all these shows nobody can complain about. So we just run it on that channel. Okay, let's show another. Oh, here's a politically incorrect. I found this. This is the Dukes of Hazzard yo-yos. As you'll recall, there were 3 Dukes of Hazzard yo-yos made by Duncan. I do not think you could put this this display box out on a rack anymore for sale, but very cool historically. If you don't recall, there were 3 models. There was the Daisy Jeep, the General Lee, and the Hazzard Police. The Daisy Jeep and Hazzard Police, there was fewer of those than the General Lee. I think they made twice as many General Lees as the others. So all very collectible yo-yos. Usually sell in the anywhere from the $40 to $80 range if they're in package. So cool yo-yos. I've never seen a live original display box of these, but like I said, politically not correct now. Let's see what else is up here. Just another random thing popping up. Oh, here. This is fun. I just happened to come across this. This is if you happen to be one of the fortunate ones that have the hard copy of Lucky's Collector's Guide to 20th Century Yo-Yos, you can see that's selling for 250 pounds. That converts to well over $300. So that is considered a collectible volume. There were only 200 of these copies made. They were never sold. They were only given out. And so just in case you have a copy, just might want to hang on to it. Or who knows, maybe you want to put it on eBay and sell it. But only going up in value. Okay, let's see something else here. Oh, this just came up on eBay. And I think everybody watching here will say, that is not a Duncan Mardi Gras yo-yo. And it is not. And I am blanking. That yo-yo does have a name, and I'm blanking on it. But it is, I can see why maybe somebody that's not a yo-yo collector might think the swirled plastic yo-yo, these are marbleized plastic yo-yos, made actually probably a little bit before the Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras had some marbleized plastic, but a different type. They used chips that they melted together. And I will mention those will melt at high temperatures. And when I mean high temperatures, I mean temperatures in the high 90s. And I found out this the hard way when I was redoing some of my collection. And I put it up in the attic, which normally has air conditioning, but for a while didn't. And some of them melted. So anyway, that is not a Mardi Gras yo-yo, probably not worth $54, but I think everybody watching the show will realize that. They used those marbleized plastic yo-yos back in the day. It was a less cost to make those marbleized plastic yo-yos because they just threw a bunch of different plastics together and it was cheaper. So those come from the late 50s, early 60s. All right, what's next? Oh, well, I had the back cover of this, which advertised the siren yo-yo. Forgot to load that one up. The siren-ring yo-yo, those sell for a few $100s, not because of yo-yo collectors, but because of string collectors. String collectors, because of ring collectors. So anyway, if you're a ring collector out there, this is the PEP serial that it came in. You sent in a proof of purchase, and I think it was 25 cents, and you got this plastic siren ring yo-yo, which was on the reverse. Okay, next picture. Oh, this is one I just recently got. I love political yo-yos, and although technically this is not a political yo-yo, this is the coronation yo-yo of 1953 of Queen Elizabeth. Came from England. It is a decal sticker seal. I thought I got a good deal on that because this is a cross collectible. And I put it with my kind of political yo-yos as well. I think that's it for my random thoughts. And we will jump right into the trivia questions. And so just so you know, no prize this time for the trivia questions. We are just doing this for honor, glory, and immortality. And we're just going to see who's the best. We're just going to see through the chat who answers the question. Yeah, John, you had your Mardi Gras melt too. Yeah, keep those Mardi Gras yo-yos cool. And they're becoming more valuable because more of them are melting each day. So anyway, we'll just jump right into it. Just jump into the chat and we will see who is going to be our trivia champion for this evening. The first picture is that one right there. Yep. Let's show that. Okay. Who is the artist of this picture? And I have blackened out. That black mark is not part of the picture. This is titled A Leprechaun Playing a Yo-Yo. Probably, I'm going to guess, from the 50s. So if you think of all your famous artists from the 50s, that might give you a hint. And I think it was on sale for like $90,000. I want to say somewhere around there. I took a hard pass on that. I decided I would put my money elsewhere. So we are waiting for the first person to have a response. I know there's a little bit of a delay here when we put stuff up. So we're going to... Dolly is incorrect, but good guess. I think by looking at that, I would have said, yeah, this looks like a Salvador Dali or something he would have done because it's Michelangelo. A little early, I think, on that date. Michelangelo, I think, was 1600s maybe. This one's 1960s, probably 50s. Picasso, another good guess. Kind of looks a little bit bizarre like a Picasso, but not there yet. Higby? No, it is not a Higby, but I could see Higby doing something like this too. Wow. I thought somebody would have seen this on sale on eBay. Maybe you guys don't get the hits on this, but it's been up on and off for a while, for a couple years, probably because of that very high price. Might have gone for it if it was $100, but when it's tens of thousands of dollars, I will say no on that one. It's okay to guess another one, folks. We've got Dali, Michelangelo, Picasso, and Higby. I can... I will give you a hint. This person was shot. This artist was shot with a gun, I think in the 60s. Came close to killing him, but he did survive. He did survive. Van Gogh, little later than Van Gogh. You're not thinking 1960s, New York City. Who was big in New York in 1960s that got shot? And he got shot by a person he knew that was ticked off because she had given him a script for a movie. And I believe the story goes, she accused him of not reading the script and got really ticked off. Good reason to shoot somebody, I would say. There it is, Warhol, John Maishral. Okay, John has 1 point. 1 point. We will see. Go to our next question, and our next is going to be a question. The 1982 Russell Christmas yo-yo what was depicted on the seal? What was on the seal of the 1982 Russell Christmas yo-yo? Now, you know, the Russell Yo-Yo Company would make these Christmas yo-yos each year, and they would make only about 1,000 of them. And most of these they weren't sold. And so these will generally run in the $100, $200 range if you're collecting these Christmas yo-yos. They weren't sold. They were only given out to company, Coca-Cola company folks that ran factories and stuff like that. So these were a little bit hard to come by and highly collectibles. Okay, let's see. We got polar bear. Nope. That was on one of them. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Johnson. You nailed it. It was the socks, the Christmas stockings. I'll let it go. It was. I would prefer you said stocking, but we'll give one to Jimmy Johnson. Hufflepuff, I believe, is his house name. So one for Jimmy Johnson at Hufflepuff, and those were stockings. Simcoe Snowman. That was also another one that was on there, but not in 1982. So we'll do another Russell. Okay, so we've got one for John Maishraw. We got one for Jimmy Johnson. The Russell Christmas yo-yos were made from 1981 to 2001. Only 1 year did they not make them. What year was this? And I honestly don't know the reason why they didn't make them. I heard somewhere it was they were going to, but they ran out of time. They couldn't get the production run in time for before Christmas. I don't know if that's true or not, but in this particular year, between 1981 and 2001, they did not make a Russell yo-yo, Christmas yo-yo. And Russell also did some other, yo-yos that were giveaway, especially that executive yo-yo. 1999, no, that is incorrect, Jimmy Johnson. 92, also incorrect. See if we get some other numbers up here. See if we can get Slytherin on the board here. We've got Hufflepuff for Jimmy Johnson and Gryffindor for John Maishraw. Next person is a Slytherin. Okay, there are only so many years between 1989. No, that is incorrect. Getting closer, though. 2000, incorrect as well. Let's see some other numbers popping up. 1995, Ravenclaw. No, 1995 is incorrect. So no points for Ravenclaw. 98, no. 1998, no, that's not it. I will give you a hint. It is in the 80s. It is in the 80s. We will see if that helps you out a little bit. I got a 1990. That's due to the delay, I am sure. 2001, also due to delay, because this yo-yo was not released in the 1990s. 1997, no, still working on that delay. 1987, John Maishraw. What did we say he was? Hufflepuff? Oh, he's Gryffindor. Oh, 2 points for Gryffindor, and John Maishraw is in the lead. Okay, here's a good one. The Duncan Supercord string pack had the image of what yo-yo model on its reverse side? What yo-yo model image was on the Duncan Supercord string pack? This was one of those glassine envelopes, pretty colorful, from the probably late 50s. Very cool string pack to have. Usually in mint condition, it'll bring, $20 or so at auction. So if you know that Duncan's Supercord string pack, and if you had the book that I'm writing with you, you'd be able to flip right over to that and find out that answer, but it hasn't been published yet. And just, Oh Boy, nope. Oh Boy was quite a bit earlier. That would have been the 30s, 1930s. Cat. Okay. That one is a Slytherin. Sandy Combs is Slytherin. So she is incorrect, as you would expect from a Slytherin. Slytherin eats cats. Duncan beginners, no. Yo-Yo Man is not good guess, but not the right answer. We'll give you a Duncan tournament. Okay, but it is a specific type of tournament. It is a specific type of Duncan tournament. Well, yeah, it says tournament on it, I'm pretty sure. But it is a specific, I'm looking for a specific logo on the yo-yo. It's a specific seal. Slytherin, you may go on and give us another answer. Cat was way off. Butterfly, nope, that was not the butterfly. Good guess, though. Good guess. I will give you a hint. 77, no, I will give you a hint. It is a plastic yo-yo. It is a plastic yo-yo. One of their early plastic yo-yos. Big G, no, good thought, good thought. Yo-Yo Man again. Nope. Imperial. Okay. Imperial, but what type of Imperial is it? I'm looking for that specific thing. If you guys can come up, fleur-de-lis, good guess. Almost. Not it. What's the other one that's really big? Would have been in the late 50s. Professional. Close. Nope. Not it. We know it's an Imperial. We know it's plastic. What's on that? What's the... Chevron. Oh, John Marshaw just locked it in for Hufflepuff? Gryffindor. Gryffindor wins. But I'm going to give you all a bonus question for redemption to see if you can beat John on this one. I'm going to show you a yo-yo. We flick that camera back on there? And I am going to ask you what TV show this yo-yo represents. My favorite TV show when I was about 10 years old. Okay. It's got little balls in it. It's got two figures. What the heck is that TV show from the 1960s that my parents would use as punishment? If I was being bad, they would say, you're not going to be able to watch blank blank if you don't do your homework. So it was like pulling nails out hearing that. I never wanted to miss this show. There it is. Look at that baby. And this is one of those Argentinian yo-yos I was talking about. Oh, there it is. Jack, Canada Jack. Time Tunnel. Time Tunnel. I can hear the music in the background. And the irony of this is, you can go on and switch back. I have grown up not to like time travel novels or time travel movies, so I don't know why I was so fixated on that. Maybe I got enough time travel as a kid through Time Tunnel. So anyway, John Maisharal is going to be our trivia champion for this month. Congratulations, John, and to Hufflepuff. Next show, I am not going to have a show in July. It's going to be just right after I get back from Nationals, and then I got a couple of days of vacay coming around the 4th of July. So it's just not going to happen this month. But next month, in August, I will be having a show. I am going to be talking about at least yo-yo tops. These are yo-yos that are tops, and go over some different collectible ones. I'm hoping I will see you guys all at the National Yo-Yo Championships here at the end of this month. And I just want to wish everybody a happy National Yo-Yo Day tomorrow. And again, I'm going to post that little video. Please link it and send it to your friends and wish them a happy National Yo-Yo Day as well. This is Doc Lucky signing off until August. Remember, you can never have too many yo-yos.